What if the health advice you've been following for decades is actually working against you? For years, we've been told that salt is the enemy. Cut back on sodium, choose low-sodium products, avoid the salt shaker. But what if this well-intentioned guidance is actually triggering your body to store more fat, especially after 40? What if restricting salt is one of the hidden reasons you can't lose stubborn pounds? This isn't about conspiracy theories or trendy diet hacks. This is about understanding how your body actually works at the hormonal level. When you deprive your body of adequate sodium, it doesn't just accept it quietly. It fights back with a powerful survival response involving multiple hormone systems, activating hormones that directly tell your fat cells to grow, multiply, and resist being burned for energy. Today, we're diving into the science of salt, insulin, and fat metabolism. By the end of this video, you'll understand why salt isn't your enemy, how your body responds when sodium drops too low, and the simple steps you can take to support your metabolism naturally. Let's uncover the truth about salt and weight loss. Before we dive deeper, I want to welcome everyone watching. If you're new to our channel, you found a community dedicated to bringing you real, science-backed health information. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss content that could genuinely change your health journey. And drop a comment below telling us where you're watching from. We have an amazing global community. Are you watching from the United States, Australia, India, the UK, or somewhere else? Let us know. Let's start with a fundamental truth. Salt is approximately 40% sodium by weight, and sodium is essential for human life. Your body doesn't treat sodium as optional. Every major system depends on it. When you move your hand or blink your eyes, sodium transmits those nerve signals. Your muscles need sodium to contract and relax. Without adequate sodium, your heart couldn't maintain proper rhythm. Your digestive system requires sodium to absorb nutrients. Even at the cellular level, cells depend on sodium to maintain structure, produce energy, and communicate. When sodium levels drop below what your body considers safe, it activates an emergency response called the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, abbreviated as RAAS. This system is powerful and immediate, with widespread effects throughout your body. When activated, your adrenal glands release two specific hormones, aldosterone and angiotensin II. These hormones have one mission: restore sodium balance at any cost. But in achieving that goal, they create a cascade of metabolic effects that directly impact weight loss. This is where things get particularly interesting for anyone struggling with stubborn fat, because these hormones don't just restore sodium, they fundamentally alter how your fat cells behave. Your fat cells are not passive storage containers. They're active, responsive tissues that react to hormonal signals. Fat cells contain mineralocorticoid receptors designed to bind with aldosterone, that hormone released when sodium is low. When aldosterone binds to these receptors, fat cell behavior changes dramatically. Research shows aldosterone promotes fat cell differentiation, meaning immature pre-fat cells mature into full, active fat cells capable of storing lipids. But it doesn't stop there. Aldosterone also causes hypertrophy. The fat cells you already have get larger, swollen with stored energy your body refuses to release. Let's be clear about what's happening. When you cut back on salt, your body interprets this as a sodium crisis. It responds by releasing aldosterone. That aldosterone travels through your bloodstream, finds your fat cells, binds to their receptors, and programs those cells to multiply and grow. You're literally signaling your body to store more fat by restricting salt. But there's another hormone that makes this worse, probably the most talked about hormone in weight gain. When sodium is restricted, your body also increases insulin production. This is where the metabolic situation becomes particularly problematic, because insulin and aldosterone working together create a nearly impossible environment for fat loss. Salt restriction triggers increased insulin levels, a completely normal physiological response documented in multiple studies. When your body senses sodium scarcity, it compensates by raising insulin as part of the survival mechanism. The critical problem is that chronically elevated insulin creates insulin resistance. Research demonstrates this clearly. A 2011 study in Metabolism examined over 150 healthy adults and found insulin resistance was significantly higher on low-salt diets. Another 2014 study in hypertension with nearly 400 participants found low-salt diets increased insulin resistance regardless of blood pressure sensitivity. Think about this irony. For decades, health authorities recommended reducing salt to prevent diabetes and heart disease. Yet, restricting salt actually increases insulin resistance, the primary driver of type 2 diabetes and a major cardiovascular disease contributor. Here's the crucial fact. Fat cells cannot grow unless insulin is elevated. This is basic physiology. Insulin is the key that unlocks fat storage. Without elevated insulin, fat cells cannot expand. When you restrict salt, you raise insulin. When insulin rises, you lock yourself into fat storage mode. So you have two problems working together: aldosterone directly stimulating fat cells to grow, and insulin creating the metabolic environment that makes fat storage possible while preventing fat burning. This combination is why salt restriction, despite good intentions, can actually sabotage weight loss efforts.
Imagine this common scenario. Someone decides to get healthy, following standard dietary advice. They eat a low-fat, high-carbohydrate diet with whole-grain bread, pasta, rice, low-fat yogurt, and fruit juice. These carbohydrates cause blood sugar spikes, triggering insulin release. Their insulin is already elevated throughout the day. Then they restrict salt because they believe it causes high blood pressure. What happens? They have elevated insulin from refined carbohydrates, programming their body to store fat. Then, salt restriction further elevates insulin while triggering aldosterone and angiotensin-2 release. All three hormones work together to stimulate fat cell growth and storage. It's metabolic gasoline on fire. Your body has no choice but to store fat under these conditions. No amount of calorie counting, cardio exercise, or willpower can overcome these hormonal signals. This is why people follow conventional advice, work incredibly hard, restrict calories, exercise regularly, and still cannot lose weight. They're fighting their own hormones. The body isn't broken. It's responding exactly as designed to the hormonal environment created by dietary choices and salt restriction.
Not all salt is the same. Regular table salt found in stores and processed foods has been heavily refined, stripped of natural trace minerals, with anti-caking agents added. These additives can interfere with how your body absorbs sodium. This isn't the salt you want. What you need is natural, unprocessed salt retaining its mineral content. The best options are iodized sea salt, Himalayan pink salt, or Celtic sea salt. These contain not just sodium and chloride, but trace amounts of magnesium, potassium, calcium, and other essential minerals. These minerals work synergistically to support metabolic function, nerve signaling, muscle contraction, and cellular health. Here's a simple morning ritual. As soon as you wake up, before coffee or breakfast, dissolve 1/4 teaspoon of natural salt in warm water and drink it. This gives your body needed sodium right away. When your body has adequate sodium upon waking, it doesn't activate the stress response and flood your system with aldosterone and angiotensin-2. Your fat cells remain balanced, rather than being stimulated to grow. Stop being afraid to season home-cooked meals with real salt. If you're eating whole, unprocessed foods you prepare at home, you're almost certainly not getting enough sodium. Processed foods are loaded with refined salt, which is problematic, but real food, vegetables, meat, fish, eggs, contains very little natural sodium. You need to add salt. A generous pinch of quality natural salt on your eggs, salad, vegetables, or meat is not harmful. It's helpful by providing needed sodium. When your body consistently receives adequate sodium from natural sources, the RAAS system shuts down. Your adrenal glands stop overproducing aldosterone and angiotensin II. Those hormones telling your fat cells to swell and multiply return to normal levels. When hormone levels normalize, fat cells stop being in constant growth mode. They can begin releasing stored energy. Your metabolism shifts from storage to burning mode. This is how your body is designed to work with all essential nutrients in proper amounts. It's not about eating more salt. It's about eating enough salt of the right type.
Let's address the main concern about salt: blood pressure. Conventional wisdom says salt causes high blood pressure, so everyone should reduce sodium. But what does research actually show? Yes, consuming large amounts of salt causes temporary water retention to maintain proper sodium concentration, which can slightly raise blood pressure for a few hours. However, long-term studies show modest effects. Meta-analyses of randomized trials lasting at least 4 weeks found modest salt reduction lowers systolic blood pressure by approximately 4 to 5 millimeters of mercury on average. For people with hypertension, the effect is slightly larger, about 5 to 6 millimeters. These reductions are real and can have population benefits. However, they're not the dramatic, life-saving changes that justify extreme salt fear. More importantly, chronic high blood pressure isn't caused primarily by salt. The real culprit is insulin resistance, which forces the body to retain sodium in water and makes blood vessels constrict. Instead of solely restricting salt, addressing insulin resistance through reduced refined carbohydrate intake proves more effective for blood pressure management.
While discussing metabolism, we need to address GLP-1 agonist drugs like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro. These medications cause significant weight loss by suppressing appetite. However, concerns surrounding them are substantial and underreported. Clinical trials show significant weight loss comes from lean body mass, including muscle. Research from Step 1 found participants lost an average of 15 pounds of lean mass with fat loss. A 2024 systematic review found lean mass loss ranged from nearly 0 to 40% of total weight loss, with larger trials showing higher percentages. For those over 40, this is concerning because muscle naturally declines with age. Additional muscle loss through medication leads to reduced strength, slower metabolism, increased frailty, and difficulty with physical tasks. Regarding mental health, data is mixed. A large 2024 Nature Medicine study found semaglutide associated with lower suicidal ideation rates compared to other weight loss medications. However, separate World Health Organization adverse event analysis found disproportionately higher reports of suicidal ideation with semaglutide, though this data has limitations. The FDA and European Medicines Agency continue monitoring the situation, with no definitive causal link established yet. Salt is not your enemy. Adequate sodium intake is essential for every major body system, including metabolism. When you restrict salt severely, your body activates hormonal responses that promote fat storage through elevated insulin, aldosterone, and angiotensin II. Your fat cells aren't sabotaging you. They're responding to the hormonal environment created by nutrient deficiency. The solution is simple. Use natural, unprocessed salt like Himalayan pink salt, Celtic sea salt, or iodized sea salt. Try the morning saltwater ritual, 1/4 teaspoon dissolved in warm water upon waking. Don't fear seasoning home-cooked whole foods with real salt. These practices help keep hormones balanced and metabolism functioning optimally. Your body is intelligent. When you provide essential nutrients, including adequate sodium, it can regulate appetite, excess stored energy, and maintain healthy body composition more effectively than any restrictive diet. If this video was helpful, kindly type yes in the comments. That motivates us to produce more content like this. Please hit that like button, share this video with someone struggling with weight loss, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching and being part of this community. Your health matters, and we're honored to be part of your journey.